Michael Chandler didn't let Arman Tsarukyan's comments slide this time. After Arman dominated Lance Palmer in a wrestling match last night, he took aim at Chandler, claiming he is scared to wrestle him. That was enough to get a reaction. Mike accepted the wrestling call-out and promised to smash Tsarukyan. Arman also went off on Paddy Pimblett, doubling down on the idea that he's a nightmare matchup for him, and that's exactly why the English contender wants him injured before they ever meet. This came after Pimblett said he hopes Arman breaks his neck in a wrestling match. According to Tsarukyan, Paddy knows he would lose that fight and will try to avoid him for as long as possible. The Armenian said he hopes Justin knocks Paddy out and sends him back to England. All of this sparked even more discussion among fans, with some throwing out a completely different idea: Colby Covington versus Arman Tsarukyan in a wrestling match. That matchup got people talking fast. Most fans still see Colby as the favorite there, mainly because of his size advantage and his proven wrestling pedigree, especially after he just dominated Luke Rockhold in their recent wrestling bout. Let's hear Chandler's call out.
He called you out, Iron Michael Chandler, right here at the wrestling match. Are we going to see that?
Did he? I mean, number one, here, let me just say one thing about Arman Tsarukyan. One thing that I really respect about Arman is even when he's not fighting in the UFC, he's staying active, doing grappling matches, doing wrestling matches. So that's one thing I will say about him. He's staying active. With that being said, I would absolutely smash Arman Tsarukyan in a wrestling match after watching him tonight. Now, I will say he did look really good, really impressive, but Lance Palmer didn't look as good as he should have tonight. With that being said, Arman, I will smash you in the RAF wrestling ring. But I got my sights set on something later this summer. I think we all know.
Now let's turn to the UFC side of things, because this is where it gets really interesting. Michael Bisping believes Paddy Pimblett is at a real crossroads right now. In his view, if he loses his next fight, the UFC's attitude toward him changes immediately. No more special treatment and talk of a quick title eliminator. The fight Bisping believes will definitely happen in case Pimblett loses is him versus Dan Hooker. Over the past couple of days, things between the two have gotten ugly on social media. It went way beyond the usual trash talk after Paddy made comments involving Hooker's family, which completely set him off.
Dan Hooker couldn't grapple a fucking rapist off his ma.
At that point, it stopped feeling like promotion and started feeling personal. That kind of tension is exactly what the UFC loves to lean into, especially if Paddy takes a loss and needs a new direction. Dan is about to fight Benoit Saint-Denis in a few weeks, which is an important fight for the lightweight division. At the same time, Pimblett took shots at Justin Gaethje's training camp, specifically mocking Justin for sparring with Kamaru Usman and Fares Ziam. His angle was that those guys are nothing like him, so the preparation is pointless. Alright, let's dive into Bisping's breakdown.
If Paddy beats Justin, none of this matters because they ain't going to fight. But if he loses, I think we might see this fight happen pretty quickly, because remember, 1 week after UFC 324, I'll be there. The week after, I'll be there as well in Sydney, Australia. UFC 325 is happening. Dan Hooker's going up against Benoit Saint-Denis. And if Dan Hooker wins, if Dan Hooker loses, it doesn't matter. If Paddy Pimblett loses, that's going to be the next fight. Simple as that. And right now, Paddy Pimblett is not making any friends in the lightweight division. And you know what? It doesn't matter, because guess what? None of these are his mates. Whether he's a good mate or he's a bad mate, none of that matters. You're here for yourself. It's me, myself, and Irene. None of them give a shit about you. So yeah, it is all fair in love and war, and yeah, you don't talk about families, and you certainly don't talk about mothers, and you certainly don't make fun of people that have passed away, right? All that shit, leave it off the table. Talk about them, talk about their looks, talk about their fights, talk about the way they dress, whatever you want to do, just leave all that shit out of it.
The beef between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev just got another layer of intrigue. A few months ago, Alexander Chizov, Topuria's former sparring partner, went viral for ditching his old camp and heading to Dagestan to train full-time with Makhachev's elite team. Fans immediately called him a spy from Topuria's camp after old photos surfaced of him rolling with Ilia ahead of a potential super fight. Chizov now spoke with Russian MMA news channel Golos OB MMA. He revealed a lot of interesting details and behind-the-scenes stuff about the drama, explaining Topuria's reaction to him training with Islam and what led to the whole situation.
Recently, I traveled to meet up with some of my old coaches in Spain and get some work in. We sparred 3 times a week and everything went as usual. Before leaving, I told Ilia where I was going, and he was okay with me stepping away from his camp for a short period. During my time with friends, one of my coaches suggested going to Dagestan to train with Islam Makhachev, who was coached by his friend and whose team has strong connections in the region. I agreed, but made it clear that Islam's team should know I was training with Topuria, so they wouldn't think I was spying. I also called Ilia to inform him and asked if he was fine with it. He said, "Okay, do whatever you want, no problem. Let me know how it goes." I trained and sparred with Islam but didn't share any secrets about Topuria. However, the next day, someone from Ilia's team reached out and said he was upset about my decision to train with Makhachev and didn't want to see me at the gym anymore. I tried to contact Ilia, but he didn't respond. I texted him, but the result was the same. Later, I noticed he unfollowed me on Instagram, so I guess it's over.
Fresh off a dominant technical fall win over former UFC middleweight champ Luke Rockhold last night, Colby Covington is already dropping bombshells about his future. The former interim welterweight champ, who's been inactive in the UFC since his tough doctor stoppage loss to Joaquin Buckley in December 2024, felt so good competing closer to 185 pounds that he's seriously teasing a permanent move up to middleweight. In the post-fight presser, Colby got real about his unquote unlimited endurance, giving him a massive edge at 185, saying he'd feel even stronger and more gassed up against the bigger guys. He even floated the idea of his next fight happening right there at the historic UFC White House card on the South Lawn in June, competing as a middleweight for the first time. This comes hot on the heels of the wild back and forth with Bo Nickal at Friday's press conference, where Covington and Rockhold unloaded on the young prospect, calling him a bozo, questioning his MMA resume after his Rainier to Ritter loss, and dismissing his hype. Bo fired back on social media, calling out Colby for a UFC fight at the White House at middleweight, saying they weigh the same and it'd be the perfect spot to settle it. Colby's not backing down from big names. He's a proven draw despite the layoff, and this middleweight talk opens doors to grudge matches or fresh challenges.
I felt good at this weight class. I know I'll do good at 185. I have unlimited endurance, so at middleweight I'll have a lot more endurance and feel better. So, I feel stronger than him tonight, and I know he weighs probably 20, 30 pounds more than me, so you might see me in my next fight, maybe in the White House at middleweight. Oh, the quitter, Bo Nickal? I call him Bozo Nickals. He bailed on RAF the last fight against UL. He bailed on this one. How could that ever... He quit in his last fight versus... Actually, I want to apologize to Renner de Ritter because I called him a Dutch kickboxer. My bad. He's actually a grappler. So a grappler made Bo quit in the octagon. So, Bo's a quitter. I don't have time for quitters. He can get in line because there's a long list of people that want to compete against me in RAF, but I want guys that are dependable, guys that are company men. I love RAF, Real American Freestyle is the future of wrestling. So I want guys that are dependable and I know are going to show up. And Bozo Nickals is not that guy. Bozo Nickals, has no reason to talk any shit. He should go back and stop quitting in the octagon before he ever speaks my name again.
That's it from MMA Psycho. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.